you in there.
Yeah.
I mean, United have got the easier fixtures in the first 2 weeks, so you've got to look at. So it gives you time, right? It gives you time to get the players in. I think what you've got to look at though is eventually you can't have. So for me at the moment, right, I've got Aubameyang and I've got Mane. I kind of want to get rid of Mane and get Salah in. And do I get rid of Aubameyang and stick in a De Bruyne or Sterling, who are both cheaper, 0.5 cheaper? But then how do I get Fernandes into my team?
That's it. That hits the nail on the head for me, really, just because you're only going to be able to afford so many of them anyway. And it's a bit of a dilemma, especially in midfield, because they're all quite high cost. So you're only going to probably get two of the premium midfielders, let's say. So you can't have them all. So, going back to the Wildie, it's like, are you going to really need to change the rest of your team? You're only really going to need to change maybe one or two midfielders, in my opinion.
But, gents, what I'm hearing from you all is you're sort of leaning towards not bothering getting Man City players in this week. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that's fair. At least wait until game week 3, dare I say even game week 4. You've got to see how some of those players start turning up as well. I think, maybe the same can be said for United players. Also, if you don't make a transfer this week, try and ride the wave out. You've got your two transfers for game week 3. If you've left a little bit of budget as well, then you could afford who you want as well.
It's always nice having those two transfers in the bank, right? Even if you get to next week and you only use one, you're rolling it over. I much prefer doing that. And I think last season I only used maybe 2 4-point hits all season, if that, maybe only 1. Yeah, I think that really helps as well, staying away from these little points. I know. I think Jimmy and Captain, you guys were both big proponents of using the 4-point penalties and taking the hit, but didn't really work out, does it?
Sometimes you've got it. Yeah, you only ever take the hit when you're down there and you've got ground to catch, and it never works, right? And actually, saving up your points doesn't ever work. You save the 2 transfers, and then COVID hits, and everyone got 3 transfers forever. So I agreed on that. I'm not bitter, but still at the forefront of my mind, I'm not saving up 2 transfers. Load of rubbish in this climate. Patrick Vieira, you looking pensive? What are you thinking?
No, my only other additional thought is that, if like Salah scores another hat trick, this weekend, his price might pop up. So leaving it longer to play your Wildie, you might then, lose out on the cost of some of these.
That's a very good point, and that's why I'm thinking the Wildie is a good thing here, because I need to get rid of Mane because I want Salah. And there's going to be a lot of people out there that probably want to have Salah now. So your decision actually is, right, if I want to keep my Wildie, do I get rid of Mane and get in Salah, and that's my transfer for the week, and I just forget about Man U and Man City and see how they do? Or do you play the Wildie? I mean, I've got Christian Pulisic, 8.5, that sat not even on the bench, sat in the stands with a mask on because he didn't do anything. And he's injured. Do I take him out? He's 8.5 and sort of work in Rashford, who's 9.5. And is it time to get rid of Aubameyang, who's 12, and get in De Bruyne, who's 11.5? Like, would you be sitting on Aubameyang at the moment, knowing that Arsenal didn't, they won 3-0, but they got West Ham next game, so he's probably going to score in that, I would have said. No offence, Ricky. But then they
I agree. Then they go to Anfield after that, right?
So maybe he goes out.
Anfield, Sheffield United, and then to the Etihad. So, difficult fixtures coming before going to Leicester and then United. Yeah. Actually, they have very tough games.
But what I'm hearing from you guys is stay away from City anyway. Maybe this is the week to do, if you have got Mane and you think Salah's the better guy, because as Patrick said, he's going to go up. Maybe now's the time to do that. Or is that a wasted transfer? But then you're not doing Man U or City. So what are we telling the Sheikh?
Be bold, act decisively, stay away from your 4-point penalty.
Don't take penalties. Don't do
no penalties, and just wait it out. So you've picked your first game week 1. Those players for a reason. You can't judge everything just on one game.
So no Wildie, no point deduction. So that gives him 1 transfer to make for the week. You guys are saying don't even bother making it. Save up for 2. Is that the advice?
I actually made mine. I actually made it at 12 o'clock on Saturday, just after the first game kicked off.
And did you bring in a Man U player or a Man City player?
A Man U player.
He's brought in a Man U player.
Yeah. Fernandes.
You see, what I'll say is...
Who would I get rid of Fernandes for? He's expensive, right? It's difficult to determine.
You probably want Martial.
Cash, right?
Greenwood.
So you're thinking... Anyway, look at it. They're all trying to work it out now. Up at the top. Look at the mind games that are happening at the top of the table. So I guess what I'm hearing there then is if you're going to get the Man U player in, at this point, don't go Fernandes. You know, you can't sacrifice a Aubameyang for Fernandes. Go for one of those cheaper options. I was thinking about this earlier today because it's all I ever think about. But Rashford, for me, he's 9.5. He's too expensive, isn't he? Now that he's going back to midfield, and the way that he came back post-COVID, he wasn't scoring goals.
It was Martial, wasn't it?
Martial or Greenwood, if you're going Man U. It's got to be one of those two. I mean, in all fairness, if you were smart like me, you'd have bought De Gea and put him on your bench first game round. So I'll have him in there. I'll have one Man U player, and then I might have a second. Okay, anyhow, guys, I think we've got to the bottom of it. We've got an answer for you, Sheikh. Are you still there?
I am still here.
Okay, Sheikh, so the answer collectively is do not use your wild card. Don't take any point hits. Just play one transfer, get in a Man U player. Man City can come next week, or use your wildie in a few weeks' time. Does that sound all right?
That sounds terrific. You gentlemen have all helped me lots. I think my team will prosper now. I think I will become the best. I will send
Sheikh, how did you do game week 1?
I scored 141 points.
Oh, so you're second in the world. I love how we get the best people ever on the show. He's like second, guys. He's above you, Ricky.
We only get the best.
And I want to be the best. That's why I listen to your podcast.
Thank you so much for dialing in, Sheikh, Shaq. And
thank you.
Wish you the very best for the rest of the season.
Thank you, boys.
Thanks, Sheikh.
That guy reminds me of the hokey cokey. You shake it all about.
Yeah.
He reminds you of that. He reminds all of us of the restaurant, mate. What an absolute gent, mate. I can't believe his name was Shake Shack. Anyhow, there we go. We move on to the final part of the podcast, listeners. It is the LeftBackFPL podcast team. And what are we going to do for week 2? So quickly, Ricky Pellegrini, you were manager for week 1.
Yes.
Let everyone know how you did for us. Did you beat your own team?
I did not beat my own team. I should have just copied my team. But I got to say, it was looking a bit shaky. I captained Aubameyang like most people did. Went with him. And I did go with Mane as well as a vice captain. Obviously, that was a wrong choice. Son in midfield, I was expecting him the first game for Tottenham to kick off the season well. Also a letdown. But the one that saved us, the best player on the pitch in our team was James. Reece James for Chelsea, 14 points. So we kind of saved our blushes. 51 points, just above the average, 1 point above the average. But a little bit of a shake-up to do. So it's over to Sean John McGinn fanboy.
Was that a pun there with a shake-up?
Bit of a
Exactly, like what I did there. But we've got Ings and Werner up front. So, it'd be good to see if you guys think we should stick with that or we need to work on the rest of the team.
Can you just tell us where we are, mate, in the podcast league quickly?
We are at game week in the rank in the whole world, 2.5 million.
Yeah.
And in our other podcast league, we are 11,000.
Okay, out of how many?
Out of 2 million.
Okay, that's not bad, mate. 11,000.
Yeah, not too bad, right?
At 2 million, my ass. You just picked that off the tree.
Yeah, I don't know.
11,000 out of 11,001. But no, fellas, that's not bad. That's not too bad. Not too bad of a start. 51, above average.
The biggest letdown actually was probably Saka for Arsenal because he didn't play at all. So he might have to come out as well. So we'll see what you lads think for the next move.
Okay, Sean John McGinn fanboy, you're going to be our manager for week 2. So a lot of responsibility on your shoulders. You're top now in the NYC Brit Street Boys League. Are you going to come in and shake it up?
So I can't believe I've been given the honour of picking the team this week. I think it's a big decision. We need to make sure we bounce back.
Yeah, don't f*** it up.
I don't know. I think one of the most impressive things is how you managed to get Aubameyang and Manny and Son all in the same team, Ricky. It's three big value midfielders, right?
Yeah, I mean, Son was disappointing, but you can see him doing well. You know, every season he's pretty consistent. Last season he was, out for a while.
I got to tell you, at the moment, Son's my favourite to remove. I have him grayed out as we speak. I think that's $9 million that we could spend somewhere else, right?
Yeah, it does free up some cash, but the question is over Mane still as well. Do you want to swap him out for Salah? And then, of course, but then looking at what we were talking about before with Man United players to bring in, right? So Son would be a like-for-like swap for one of those.
Yeah, but it's 9 million, right? So just not enough for Rashford at 9.5, right? Obviously not enough for Bruno at 10.5. So you're looking down the table a bit. You're
Martial.
We could get Greenwood in there.
You've got Greenwood. Greenwood at 7.5 was exactly who's there, or Martial, but Martial forward, remember? So we can't get that in the formation.
Just looking at Werner, I see he's got an injury next to his name.
But that's the most ridiculous injury ever.
Yeah, he's got a dead leg. I think
definitely going to be out.
I think he'll be back.
Werner will be fine.
Yeah, he'll be back.
One of my big choices is definitely Son for Greenwood, as you mentioned. I think that's up there. The other one is, do we get rid of Aubameyang? I really don't trust having him in the team, especially the fixtures coming up. So there's 12 million we could spend elsewhere as well.
Are you thinking we should use our wild card, Sean?
No, absolutely not. There's plenty of room for improvement in this team, mate, at the moment.
Okay, Sean, so you're thinking Son out and Greenwood in. That's your kind of transfer that you're thinking at the moment. Before you go ahead and make that, the pundits will give you what they're thinking. 1 minute. Ricky, what do you think?
It's going to be a tricky one because I know Danny Wings is close to your heart, but I'm not convinced that price point that he's worth sticking with. I would rather spend money elsewhere, maybe going with Callum Wilson to free up some more money for midfield. I think midfield is where it's going to be at. So that would be me taking out Danny Wings, maybe going with Callum Wilson.
Lovely. Callum Wilson instead of Danny Wings. Patrick Vieira, what do you think?
Yeah, Danny Ings might be another one, or Son to remove. And then again, I'd go back to what I said earlier about looking at Leeds players for cheap, inexpensive alternatives. So, maybe bring Patrick Bamford in. They're playing Fulham next, and they usually do beat Fulham. So I can see perhaps goals at both ends, but I think Leeds will be scoring a few there.
NVD?
Yeah, I think the guys have pretty much hit on most of it, to be honest. I was just trying to look up actually how much Saka was. I don't think he's that expensive, to
5.
be honest. 5.5. So I was just trying to think who else we could kind of get in place for him. If I'm honest, I'd probably I'd look at Alan Saint-Maxim instead of him. But again, that's kind of a low priority transfer. Otherwise, I agree. I think let's do knee-jerk and get Wings out.
Guys, you really think I'm going to get Wings out?
I don't think we will. I don't think we will this week, but yeah.
Do you know what I think you should do, Sean John McGinn fanboy? I think you need to get...
John McGinnon?
Definitely not that. Get Mane out and get Salah in.
My only other thing is get Aubameyang out. Really don't trust him in there. Really don't like it in there.
I was thinking that, but they're playing West Ham.
Yeah, well, it doesn't mean anything when I talk about Arsenal. And maybe just get a KDB in. Why not?
Well, it's a big decision. So, you don't need to tell us what you're going to do. We'll post it up on the website. We'll let people know. But what are you thinking, captain choice? Anyone in there that's...
I think we're going to see in our team that you want to be the one that makes a big decision, right? Whoever bringing us a sub is probably likely to go captain.
Lovely jubbly. Then Sean John McGinn fanboy is going to captain whoever comes in. That does remind me, guys. It's Captain Contenders.
Captain Contenders.
Patrick Vieira, who are you recommending for captain game week 2?
Well, it's a tough one this week, I think, for me. I would be inclined to captain a Man U player, and I have Greenwood in my squad, but I'm not sure whether he's worthy of a captain choice yet. So if you got Bruno, I think he'd be a good shout. or Martial as a captain for Man U.
Yeah. NBD, where are you looking?
I'm looking at Arsenal, to be honest. They're at home.